Well, if you watch my videos, you know that I love my wheated bourbons. But what about a straight wheat whiskey? We're going to review Bernheim Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey, barrel proof, batch A225. So this is the first bottle of straight wheat whiskey that I have ever purchased. I have had a sample of an earlier batch of this before and really liked it, but have not purchased it. As a matter of fact, I've only seen this in one other place previously, and it was a lot more money than I purchased this for. So I was in Bottle King by my office in North Jersey, saw one bottle of this sitting on the shelf for $64. That is a few dollars below MSRP, and certainly probably about at least $30 or $40 less than I had previously seen it in another area by me in New Jersey. This was a no-brainer. Definitely picked this up right away. So what this is a Heaven Hill product, Bernheim Distillery, Heaven Hill. This is one of their 2 yearly batches. Just like Elijah Craig has 3 batches a year, Larceny has 3 batches a year of their barrel fruit batches A, B, and C. The Bernheim does something similar but a little different. They do 2 batches a year, and that works as follows. You have this batch is the A, it is the first batch. The 2 is for February, although it was either released in February or March, and 25 is the year. So this is batch A225, and there will be another batch at some point later this year. I'm not sure exactly what month that is. So they do 2 batches, whereas the others do 3. This is 125.4 proof. It is aged 7 to 9 years, in that range. So what you have is an age that is, on average, slightly older maybe than the Larceny, and slightly younger than the Elijah Craig. Kind of falls in that mid-range. I'm very curious. I have not, I've seen the Bernheim, the small, whatever this is, the small batch or the lower proof one. Never purchased it. I've seen that in some stores. But as far as this one, this is only the second time I've seen it, but it is amazing how much more reasonably priced this was than I saw it in the other stores. So I am really curious to try this. And just to clarify, this just makes it as a straight wheat whiskey. In order to be a straight wheat whiskey, it has to be at least 51% wheat, and this is 51% wheat. The mash bill is 51% wheat, 37% corn, 12% malted barley. So this just makes it, if it was just a little bit below that, it would still be a, I don't know what it would be. If you have to be 51% corn to be a bourbon. But the point is that, let's put it this way, a few points less than wheat, this would be like a really, a high wheated bourbon. But this is just making it a straight wheat whiskey. So what I'm expecting here with that amount of wheat is going to be a lot of those classic wheated flavors I love in a wheated bourbon, but even more so. And you still have the sweetness, of course, of the corn. I'm expecting to really like this. I'm really excited to get into it. Let's go. Nice cork pop. Okay, so we have this poured up. That really was a nice cork pop. And so I'm expecting basically, certainly between the Elijah Craig and the Larceny batches, obviously Larceny being the wheated bourbon, this being the straight wheat whiskey, and being Heaven Hill, I'm expecting this will have some similarity, possibly to Larceny, but more amped up with the wheat, softness of the wheat, and maybe some more of those notes, less of the corn. So let's get into this. This is a really nice color. I gotta be honest with you, just in terms of the feel when I was pouring this, it feels like a rather thick, viscous liquid, but I won't be able to tell until I pep it on the palate. Let's give it a nose. That is certainly and richer than Larceny, but I'm getting, I am getting oak on this. Kind of like dark, I don't know if it's dark fruit. I'm getting dark chocolate, but I'm just kind of getting just some dark notes on that one. Let's give us a taste. Cheers. This is tasty. This is really good. Really nice legs on the glass, hard to see. I do sense that on the mouthfeel, the thick, viscous mouthfeel, just as I thought when I poured it, just as I'm looking at the legs. This is I really think, again, this is my first blush. Sometimes opinions change, but this really does seem to be a rather thick, viscous mouthfeel. This is good. Quite different than others I've tasted. Now, I did have a sample, a handshake of this, of a previous batch of this, and I absolutely loved it. And that's kind of what made me want to look for this, but I just never seen it before. As I get on the Larceny barrel proofs, I do get some notes of chocolate. Chocolate, oak. I usually have that kind of the breaded kind of note from a wheat whiskey. This is kind of enhanced with that, but definitely in the terms of I'm getting some types of chocolate notes. So it's kind of like the Larceny amped up with some of those wheated notes. Definitely, I'm trying to think of something. You get some spice, but there's no rye spice in it because there's no rye. I have had some types of equivalent spice notes from wheated bourbons, but this is very good. So this is my first straight wheat whiskey, in this case a Kentucky straight wheat whiskey. I've never purchased a bottle before. This is my first one. Again, it was only just a sample. So I would say, if you like wheated bourbons, you like high wheat notes in those, I certainly would give something like this a try. This is, again, it's just making it as a straight wheat whiskey, being 51% wheat. And this is, I have to say, I know these batches may vary, so I had one other one that was really good. I don't have much to compare it to because it's my first bottle of this, but again, this is the first batch of this year. There should be another one coming out. These are obviously harder to find, certainly, than the, depending where you are, it might be different by you, but compared to the Elijah Craig and Larceny's, again, this being my first one. So I would say, first blush, this is really good. And what's really good is that I got this for $64, which is, supposedly a few dollars, maybe less than MSRP. Bottle King has very good prices here in New Jersey. I think they have some of the best prices of stores that I know. And I would say the equivalent price range to, some of the Larceny barrel proof batches that I see. I find Elijah Craig is a little bit more. First blush, this Bernheim Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey, barrel proof batch A225, 125.4 proof, is a winner. Cheers.